The sun hung low over the cerulean ocean, its golden light scattering across waves that danced violently in the evening wind. I stood at the cliff edge, heart pounding, watching her struggle far below in the surf. Her skin shimmered faintly under, the sunlight, iridescent patterns flickering as water slammed against her. The humans around me hesitated, their voices lost to the roar of the waves, unsure how to intervene. Yet instinct screamed to act, fear melted into resolve. With a running leap, I dove into the frothing sea, cutting through the cold water toward her. Currents twisted and clawed at my legs, threatening to drag me under. She gasped, eyes wide with panic, tangled in kelp and the undertow. Every stroke brought me closer, muscles straining, determination sharpening. As I reached her, the waves slammed together, tossing her helplessly toward jagged rocks. I grabbed her arm just in time, feeling the fragile strength of her body pressed against mine. Her luminescent hair floated around us, catching light in strange patterns that felt almost magical. I yelled over the roar of the storm, urging her to hold on, our eyes meeting in mutual fear and recognition. Her small hands grasped at my shoulders, shimmering fingers gripping tightly. I twisted and kicked, angling away from the rocks, the sea trying to undo all our efforts. Her breathing was ragged, each inhale a struggle against the ocean's violent pull. I felt a surge of protectiveness, a bond forming in the instant danger fused our fates. My arms burned, but I refused to let go, refusing to let her be taken. Finally, I found a calmer pocket of water, a small cove where the waves were gentler, yet even here the current tugged relentlessly. I wrapped my arms around her, trying to keep her afloat, whispering reassurances that she could barely hear over the wind. Her eyes, wide and terrified, softened as she realized someone had come for her. The luminescent glow on her skin pulsed faintly, an alien heartbeat visible beneath her translucent surface. I guided her to a jagged but stable outcrop, hauling her from the water with every ounce of strength I had. She collapsed against the stone, shivering violently, and I quickly wrapped her in my coat, feeling the contrast between human warmth and alien elegance. Her eyes studied mine, curious, uncertain, and yet trusting in the strangest way. Every breath we took together felt like a fragile promise of survival. Her voice, fragile but melodic, cut through the crashing waves. Why did you risk yourself?" she asked, eyes reflecting fear and wonder. I smiled, trying to hide exhaustion, answering simply, "Because no one should drown alone." Her gaze lingered on me, a mix of astonishment and quiet gratitude. Around us, the ocean continued its assault, yet we were momentarily shielded by resolve and determination. She struggled to stand, and I steadied her, hands gripping hers carefully. The storm above mirrored the storm below, yet within that chaos, a fragile trust began to bloom. She shivered but managed a faint smile, alien patterns on her skin glowing softly in the fading sunlight. Each movement was delicate, graceful, yet entirely human in desperation and survival instinct. I realized then that courage wasn't just about fighting the waves. It was about connection, empathy, and the willingness to act when no one else would. Night fell over the water, stars twinkling faintly above the restless sea. I carried her along the rocky shore, searching for a safe place to rest, my heart still racing from the ordeal. Her alien form radiated both vulnerability and strength, a strange combination that fascinated me with every glance. She leaned lightly on my shoulder, trust evident in the way she allowed herself to be supported. The villagers nearby had gathered, murmuring in awe, yet none dared approach, respecting her alien majesty. I kept moving, alert for sharp rocks, sudden tides, or anything that might threaten her again. Her soft voice occasionally broke the silence, asking about human customs, life, and even the meaning of bravery. I answered carefully, knowing each. Word built the bridge between two very different worlds. Our steps echoed across the stones, a rhythm of trust forming between us. And in that fragile night, I understood that her survival had become my responsibility in every sense. The moonlight shimmered across the water as we reached a secluded cove, sheltered from the waves' relentless assault. I laid her gently on the sand, wrapping a thick blanket around her shoulders to provide warmth. She studied the night sky, her alien eyes reflecting constellations in patterns unfamiliar yet mesmerizing. I built a small fire nearby, flames casting dancing shadows across the rocks, and she watched intently, fascinated by the flickering light. "Your world, it's beautiful," she whispered, her voice soft and reverent, as if seeing fire for the first time. I nodded, offering a small smile, though my thoughts remained on the danger that still lurked in the dark waves. She reached out, fingertips brushing mine, tentative but filled with curiosity. I felt a jolt, a connection deeper than words, bridging alien and human in a fleeting instant. The night was silent except for the crackle of fire and the distant pounding of waves. I realized then that saving her was only the first step in an adventure neither of us fully understood yet. The first light of dawn illuminated the cove, revealing vibrant coral and hidden tide pools that shimmered under the sun. She sat up, shaking off sand and sea remnants, her luminescent skin sparkling like jewels. I handed her a simple human breakfast, which she examined with cautious curiosity, attempting bites with delicate hands. Her laughter, alien but musical, filled the cove, chasing away the remnants of fear from the night. Villagers had begun to arrive, amazed at her survival, yet careful to respect her space and dignity. I guided her through introductions, ensuring she felt safe among humans. She observed everything intently, her gaze a mix of wonder and calculation. Even the smallest child dared to approach her, and she responded with gentle smiles, bridging the vast gap between species. The sun rose higher, casting golden reflections across waves now calm and serene. For the first time, both of us felt a fleeting sense of peace, earned through courage and connection. A sudden ripple through the water reminded us that the ocean's threat was never fully gone. She stood, immediately alert, and I instinctively positioned myself between her and the surf. Waves licked the shore, but her eyes narrowed, scanning for danger, patterns flickering across her skin. I noticed how every movement she made blended grace and vigilance, the alien form poised yet approachable. Even the humans, previously awestruck, began to mirror her confidence, sensing the protective energy she radiated. I extended a hand to her, and she took it without hesitation, a silent trust forming between us. We walked along the shore, alert yet composed, the bond of shared danger strengthening with each step. The cove became a temporary sanctuary, a place where human and alien instincts could coexist safely. I realized that her survival had not only tested courage, but also shaped empathy and understanding. By midday, we had gathered enough supplies to prepare for departure from the cove, planning a route inland where she would be safe. Her curiosity led her to examine human tools, clothing, and techniques with keen interest. I demonstrated simple survival skills, showing her how humans adapt to land after storms. She observed intently, asking questions with a mix of fascination and analytical precision. Every gesture, every explanation was an exchange of knowledge, bridging our worlds. Villagers watched quietly, some attempting to interact, yet always mindful of her dignity. I noted the delicate balance between teaching and protecting, as her alien physiology required care unlike any human. The air was calm, filled with anticipation for the journey ahead, each step forward a promise of survival and understanding. And in that calm, I realized the adventure was only beginning. The afternoon sun bathed the cove in warm light, waves sparkling like liquid glass as she attempted to stand alone. I remained close, hands ready to steady her, though she moved with surprising strength and grace. Her laughter filled the air as she experimented with balance, tilting slightly, arms outstretched as if practicing flight. The humans nearby murmured admiration, noting how beauty and courage seemed intertwined in her every movement. I offered guidance, but she required little, a testament to resilience born of survival instincts and alien physiology. We walked along, tide pools, observing the strange aquatic creatures that scuttled across wet sand. She reached out, fingertips skimming water, patterns glowing faintly with curiosity. I felt an unspoken bond solidify in these quiet moments, shaped by peril, courage, and mutual respect. The ocean, once a threat, now seemed to frame our beginning. We set off along a narrow coastal path, jagged rocks on one side and the restless ocean on the other. Her delicate form moved gracefully, yet every step carried caution, balancing trust in me with instinctual fear. The villagers followed at a safe distance, whispering awe at the alien presence walking among them. Sunlight bounced off the waves, shimmering across her skin, creating patterns that felt almost alive. I carried the heaviest supplies, ensuring she remained unburdened. She observed the surroundings with fascination, pointing out subtle details humans often overlooked. Every so often she glanced at me, her eyes reflecting gratitude and curiosity. The wind tousled her hair in an otherworldly halo, and I realized how fragile yet powerful she seemed. The path was treacherous, but together we advanced, a silent rhythm forming between human and alien. A sudden cliffside scree shift sent loose rocks tumbling toward the ocean, but she reacted instantly, extending a faint energy aura to shield us. I marveled at the control she wielded, balancing delicate precision with raw power. Villagers froze, in fear, yet she motioned for them to follow, her voice calm and melodic. I guided her across unstable stones, feeling the pull of tides below, each step a test of courage. Her eyes sparkled, observing the way humans adapted instinctively to danger. I felt a surge of pride. Not only had we survived the ocean, but she now trusted me as a partner in navigation. Each movement reinforced the bond, unspoken yet unbreakable, between two beings from very different worlds. Her glowing patterns pulsed softly with reassurance. Even the smallest child watching seemed captivated by her presence. The cliffs behind us echoed the sounds of survival and resilience. By evening, we discovered a small lagoon fed by hidden freshwater streams, surrounded by tropical flora unlike anything I had seen. She knelt at the water's edge, testing its flow with glowing fingers, laughing softly at the ripples she created. I built a small fire nearby, warmth radiating across sand and stone, while she observed with fascination, her gaze moving between flames, water, and me. Villagers cautiously approached, drawn by her curiosity, yet hesitant to intrude. She explained in broken but musical words how this fresh water reminded her of home. I smiled, realizing the exchange of knowledge had begun, bridging human experience with alien memory. The sunset painted the lagoon gold and crimson, reflecting in her luminescent eyes. Every detail of the environment seemed amplified by her perception. The night was calm, yet charged with shared wonder and anticipation. I felt that our survival had already become a tale of trust, courage, and connection. That night, I watched as she tried to rest, waves lapping softly nearby. Her skin pulsed faintly with a gentle glow, illuminating sand and rocks around her. I built a small shelter to shield her from the wind, placing the villagers' tents nearby but respecting her need for space. Occasionally, she spoke softly, asking questions about human life, food, and customs. her curiosity bridging alien and human cultures. I answered carefully, realizing each response shaped her understanding of our world. Her expression shifted from wonder to amusement, creating a subtle warmth in the night air. Even the stars above seemed to reflect her ethereal presence, tiny, lights mirrored in the water below. I felt an unspoken responsibility to guide her safely through not only the terrain, but also human interaction. Every protective gesture I made was met with acknowledgement in her quiet, luminous gaze. That night, the ocean no longer felt threatening. It became a shared space for discovery and trust. The next morning brought storms over the distant horizon, dark clouds racing toward our cove. She immediately sensed the change, patterns on her, skin flickering in alert. I helped her collect belongings and secure supplies, noting how her alien physiology interacted with human tools. Villagers moved quickly under her guidance, a mix of caution and admiration in their steps. I realized she had become a natural leader, blending curiosity, courage, and strategy effortlessly. The waves crashed violently, yet she moved with precision, guiding each human safely along the beach. Occasionally, her hand brushed mine in silent reassurance, a small gesture that carried unspoken warmth. Her eyes, wide with vigilance, scanned the horizon and cliffs, calculating risks with alien precision. Together, we coordinated the evacuation to a more protected stretch of shore. Each wave we navigated strengthened the unspoken bond. Trust, solidifying with every shared challenge. As we moved, a sudden rip tide pulled a fisherman far from shore, threatening to engulf him. Without hesitation, she extended a translucent energy field, slicing through the water to reach him. I jumped in to assist, feeling the chill and force of the ocean, muscles straining against the current. Her voice, melodic and commanding, cut through the roar, guiding both of us towards safety. Villagers watched in awe as alien and human collaboration rescued one of their own. When we finally brought him to shallow water, he gasped and coughed, staring at her glowing figure in disbelief. She helped him stand, offering a faint, reassuring smile, while I held the blanket for warmth. Every action demonstrated courage, empathy, and unity between worlds. Even the harsh ocean seemed to acknowledge her presence, receding slightly as if bowing to her determination. That day cemented her role not just as someone I protected, but as a leader who could inspire humans to act with courage. By mid-afternoon, we discovered a hidden cave along the cliff, sheltered from both storm and tide. She examined it carefully, glowing patterns, scanning walls and formations, as if reading the stone itself. I helped secure the area, lighting small torches while she studied alien markings etched into the rock. Villagers gathered cautiously, intrigued by the cave's secrets, yet hesitant to disturb her exploration. She demonstrated patience and curiosity simultaneously, teaching through actions rather than words. I noticed how every detail fascinated her: water drips, mineral veins, even the patterns of light through cracks above. I shared human interpretations, and she responded with alien analogies, bridging worlds with subtle gestures. Her presence transformed the cave from a dark, foreboding space into a shared laboratory of discovery. The ocean roared faintly outside, but inside, we found calm and wonder. This hidden sanctuary became a symbol of mutual trust and shared adventure. As night fell, the storm finally broke, leaving rain-slicked rocks and mist curling over the beach. She hovered near the cave entrance, wings partially extended, scanning the dark waves for threats. I noticed her gaze soften as she looked at me, a subtle acknowledgement of the bond forged in danger. Villagers settled nearby, building small fires, sharing whispered stories of the ocean's fury and the courage they had witnessed. She listened quietly, fascinated by human resilience, occasionally offering soft, approving gestures. The alien glow of her skin illuminated the cave entrance, casting long, graceful shadows over sand and rock. I realized then that danger had evolved into opportunity. The ocean had tested us, and in return, it had created a space for trust, learning, and connection. The night air was thick with potential, charged with anticipation for tomorrow's journey. Her presence was a reminder that courage and empathy could transcend species, binding us through experience and intent. The next morning, sunlight filtered through storm clouds, illuminating sparkling droplets on her hair and skin. She stood gracefully. At the cave's mouth, wings unfurled slightly, testing balance in the gentle wind. I adjusted her cloak, noting how human tools and alien elegance could coexist seamlessly. Villagers began packing for further inland travel, energized by confidence, inspired by her calm authority. Every step forward was deliberate, yet infused with trust and curiosity. I led the way, carrying heavier supplies, ensuring she remained unburdened while she observed terrain with alien precision. Waves lapped quietly against the rocks, a peaceful contrast to the prior storm's chaos. She laughed softly at a child chasing a crab, and I felt warmth spread through my chest. Even in moments of calm, the bond deepened, built on shared peril and mutual respect. I understood that survival was no longer enough. Connection had become our greatest strength. By midday, we had moved inland to a small freshwater river, calmer and safer than the coastal cliffs. She knelt at the edge, testing water flow, her glowing fingers creating ripples that shimmered in sunlight. I guided villagers in crossing, demonstrating safe footing while she extended subtle protective energy. Even minor missteps caused no harm. Her presence ensured safety. The alien elegance of her movements inspired confidence, her gestures teaching humans to act decisively in difficult conditions. I noticed how she observed everything with quiet intensity, processing information at speeds that astonished me. Occasionally, her eyes met mine, conveying silent gratitude and recognition. Every ripple in the river reflected her light, a metaphor for influence and guidance. Villagers followed, inspired to mirror her courage, learning not just survival, but bravery. The river, once threatening, now became a place of trust and unity. The river widened into a calm lagoon, its surface reflecting sunlight in dazzling patterns across her luminous skin. She knelt, dipping fingers into the water, creating ripples that shimmered like liquid jewels. I watched closely, guiding the villagers in securing supplies for the next leg of our journey. Her gaze met mine, faintly smiling, a silent acknowledgement of shared trust and survival. The air hummed with anticipation, the stillness a brief respite from prior chaos. Every detail fascinated her, the subtle currents, the insects skimming water, the way light fractured through droplets. Villagers whispered in awe, noting the strange beauty radiating from her alien form. I realized that her presence had transformed this ordinary lagoon into a sacred space of courage and learning. Even small children dared to approach, encouraged by her calm authority. I felt an undeniable bond, forged in danger and now solidified in serenity. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered on the horizon, shadows stretching across the water like fingers of doom. She rose gracefully, eyes scanning the storm, wings unfurling slightly, patterns flickering in warning. I gathered the villagers, preparing them for potential flood or sudden waves. She guided us toward a natural embankment, moving with the precision of someone intimately connected to both land and water. Her calm voice cut through rising wind, instructing and reassuring in equal measure. I assisted her in securing everyone, noting how effortlessly she balanced empathy and command. Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating her radiant form, both alien and majestic. The lagoon churned violently, waves rising unexpectedly, but she remained poised, directing action with unwavering focus. Each human instinct merged with her alien awareness, creating a symphony of coordinated effort. Together we weathered the first strike, alive yet alert for more danger. By evening, the storm subsided, leaving rain-soaked foliage and fresh scents of earth and salt water. She knelt beside the lagoon, examining tracks left by unknown creatures, patterns glowing faintly under her skin. I followed, observing how she interpreted signs humans could scarcely recognize. Villagers watched in silence, awe evident in every expression, impressed by the blend of wisdom and grace she exuded. I guided her to a safe clearing, helping establish a temporary camp while she studied flora and fauna for survival clues. Occasionally, she laughed softly at small animal antics, a melodic sound blending alien tone with human warmth. I noticed how every movement radiated calm authority, inspiring trust naturally rather than demanding it. The fire we built reflected in her eyes, highlighting delicate contours and patterns unique to her species. I realized that our survival depended not just on courage, but on shared knowledge, empathy, and mutual respect. The lagoon, once threatening, now symbolized alliance and guidance. Morning revealed a clear sky, glistening droplets clinging to her hair and shimmering skin. She moved among villagers, sharing alien insights, teaching them subtle methods to read the land and water. I carried heavier supplies, ensuring she remained unburdened, yet she observed with a sharp, analytical curiosity. Her glowing patterns pulsed faintly, conveying emotion and intent, mesmerizing everyone who glanced her way. The bond between us had strengthened into silent communication, gestures and glances bridging the gap between worlds. Suddenly, distant roars echoed across the forested cliffs, signaling unknown predators or challenges ahead. She glanced at me, confidence radiating from every line of her form, a mix of elegance and authority. I felt courage swell, inspired by her poise and command despite prior dangers. Together we advanced, forming a unified front between human and alien. Every step reinforced trust, bravery, and the shared understanding that survival was only the beginning of something greater. We reached a high plateau overlooking the vast ocean, sunlight reflecting off the waves like scattered diamonds. Villagers paused, taking in the view while she surveyed the horizon, luminous patterns glowing softly. I followed, noticing how even the wind seemed to respect her presence, brushing gently against her hair and skin. She whispered observations about currents, hidden reefs, and potential paths forward, blending alien intuition with human practicality. I assisted her in mapping a safe route, our collaboration a dance of trust and skill. Suddenly, a rogue wave crashed against the cliff base, sending spray skyward, yet she remained steady, unflinching. I steadied her, fingers brushing, the connection intimate and unspoken, born of shared peril. The villagers watched, understanding that she had not only survived but inspired courage and hope. Our journey continued inland, each step a testament to resilience, empathy, and mutual respect. By nightfall, a sense of accomplishment settled over us, yet anticipation for future adventure remained palpable. In the forest beyond the cliffs, we encountered strange wildlife, some curious, others aggressive. She navigated with astonishing agility, energy glowing faintly as she repelled threats without harm. I assisted, defending both humans and her, learning to anticipate her movements and intentions. Villagers followed cautiously, inspired by the silent trust we shared. Every encounter strengthened bonds, teaching survival through cooperation rather than domination. She paused near a waterfall, marveling at the spray, eyes shimmering with wonder. I handed her a human-made lantern, and she smiled, experimenting, with light reflection through water droplets. Her laughter echoed melodically across the forest, mingling with distant bird calls and crashing water. I realized then that the world was no longer a threat, but a canvas for courage, exploration, and connection. Each shared experience deepened the respect and admiration between us. By dawn, we reached a hidden valley, abundant with fresh water and fertile soil. She knelt to examine the earth, patterns flickering as she sensed unseen life beneath. I observed, offering human insights on cultivation, terrain, and shelter construction. Villagers began assisting, guided by her subtle instructions, a mixture of alien logic and gentle leadership. Together, we built a small sanctuary, blending human ingenuity with her alien precision. Birds and small animals cautiously approached, drawn by her calming presence. I helped carry materials while she orchestrated placement, turning chaos into order effortlessly. Every action reflected mutual trust, shared knowledge, and the unspoken bond forged through danger. She laughed softly at our clumsy attempts to follow her exacting directions, light and warmth threading through the valley. That night, under stars reflected in calm waters, I realized our journey had created something beyond survival: connection, respect, and hope. As the story's final morning broke, she stood at the valley's edge, wings fully extended, glowing softly under rising sun. Villagers approached with offerings, gestures of gratitude for her guidance and courage. I stood beside her, hand brushing hers in silent acknowledgement of shared trials. The ocean we had survived now seemed distant, a memory transformed into lessons and resilience. She looked at me, eyes radiant, patterns flickering in approval, a quiet affirmation of trust and admiration. Together, we surveyed the valley, understanding that future challenges would come. But we were ready. The sanctuary we created symbolized unity between human and alien, courage and compassion intertwined. Every heartbeat and glance reinforced, the bond forged through peril and shared determination. And as we prepared to journey further, one truth was clear: survival alone mattered little. Connection, bravery, and trust defined the story of our lives.